Hello, my friends, and welcome to Radio Mythoverse for December the 12th, 2020. We're well into the Advent season now. That also means it's a chance for us to mark the fact that the most awkward year we can remember is nearing its hopefully glorious conclusion. Lots of unusual adjustments, lots of bizarre, almost otherworldly shenanigans of every description have plagued us all year long. We've got a lot to look back on and a lot to look forward to. So we're going to talk about some of that stuff tonight and kick back and relax with some cyberpunk. And I'm looking forward to that. So at the opening, you heard Goodbye July, a wonderful tune by Shred Kelly off of their Goodbye July album. They're a Canadian Stoke folk band. Their lead singer plays the same banjo that I did on that particular track. You also heard Back from the Dead, as usual, by the Suburban Swamp Kids. That track's available on their Tropical Depression EP. They're a great ska punk band from South Florida. You can get to them at swampkids.bandcamp.com, and I'll put a link to that page in the description. So, hey again, I'm Dan, editor-in-chief of Mythoverse. We're back in the Advent season. We've all been handling life stuff that comes up from time to time, but we're getting things together now as the year wraps up. So work is going to be a bit chill for me for the next couple of weeks. I'm pretty much on vacation without actually being on vacation. That's the best way I can explain it. Between that and the current state of things in general, I feel it's a good time to kick back a moment, take a breath, and relax. So with me tonight, right now, is at the moment just Matt. Brett will be joining us a little bit later. So how are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good. It's been quite a year, as you've said.
Yeah, I think if each of us described how it was quite a year for all of us, we'd be here all night. But you have some good news, don't you? Weren't you looking at a new job prospect?
It's possible. I've got another week before I find out, but here's hoping.
Yeah, I hope.
It'll also mean that I'll get Mythics out faster.
Sure. Speaking of Mythics, it's good that you mentioned Mythics. Yeah, the campaign for Mythics #2 and Hallowed Harvest, they have both been paid for, and both of the orders are in queue at our printer. But our printer that we decided to go with, because they also handle fulfillment, and that was just the way we needed it to be for this time around. They're a bit bogged down. They're working with the Rags team, they're working with us, and they're working with a number of other people, and they're handling a lot of print-on-demand orders. So I've been in contact with them. They are getting to our order, and hopefully early next week I'll have some good news as to the Mythics campaign. That's first in queue. That was placed and set up first. Hallowed Harvest was set up like a week afterwards. So they're going to work on them in that order. But I'm hoping that we'll get some good news before the end of the year, and we'll get those campaigns closed up and closed out and sent out, fulfilled, etc. to all of our wonderful backers. And that will be a huge win for us and give us a nice clean slate for 2021, which hopefully will ease up a little bit on the nonsense and let us get back to work. So
We'll find out as soon as it turns 1/1/21 rather than 13/1/20.
Yeah. We only have a couple weeks left to go in 2020, but like that one of my favorite memes on the topic tends to point out. Falcor took Atreyu 9,891 miles to the Southern Oracle, but then the real problem started. He had to go through the Sphinx Gate and the Magic Mirror Gate before he can get to the Southern Oracle. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for nothing, Falcor. Why couldn't you just fly me over those freaking Sphinxes? Are you afraid they'd kind of shoot you down? Couldn't be bothered. I mean, it was literally right over there. It's like, guy. Anyway, so yes, Falcor's kind of a dick, but anyway, moving on. So, our focus. Our,
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mute.
I was wondering what that was. Okay. Anyway, so while those two campaigns are getting taken care of, once again, it's out of our hands at the moment. We've set up the orders. We've given them the backer reports. We've paid them. And basically all I can do right now is poke at them every other day or so to make sure they're on track. And so far, they assure me that they are. They're just, they're understaffed due to the thing that shall not be named. So hopefully we'll have some good news next week, and I'll make sure to update the campaigns when I do. But here's what we're doing in the meantime. What we're focusing on right now is expanding our reach, expanding our audience, and one of the major steps that we've taken, among other things, was to put up our first 3 launch titles up on a site called Global Comics. And I'm going to swap over there so that everyone can have a look. So this is a fantastic website that's kind of fulfilling the role of the late and great Comic Central that would allow easy community-based distribution of your digital comics. The tool set, as I found out when I took a look at the site, extremely robust, very user-friendly. They have baked in mobile-friendly support so that if you want to, you can actually go into your comic and designate how you want it to be navigated on a small screen to make it friendly to read on a phone or a tablet. Just requires a little bit of extra work, but it's there. The upload interface is fantastic. You just dump a PDF in there, and that automatically splits it up into pages. And you can edit them and rearrange them and add text or add navigation within a very simple, friendly editor. So, and it's a pretty large community. There are hundreds of comics on the site. The manager is extremely friendly and responsive on social media. Does a good job promoting you too. So, within 5 days of putting up our comics here, we've already got some traction on our titles here. Mythics has been viewed 86 times. Changeling 186 times. And as of right now, Adobe Kroger 293 times. So people are finding the books, and this is a nice organic way to spread the reach. So this is one of the things that we're doing to expand the Mythoverse's reach. Here's a really cool thing too. When you upload your books here, you can designate that you want to show a certain number of them for free. And you can say, hey, show everyone the first 10 pages for free, and after that they have to pay a nominal fee in order to view the rest of it. And there's also a baked-in Patreon-like model where you can pledge to support a creator, and you can indicate goals and all that sort of thing. So it's kind of a Comic Central with Patreon kind of baked into it. It has a nice little news feed here, so you can update your readers here, just like a blog. And you could comment on the books, so you can say, like, this is issue 1 of Changeling. Here's what here are the artists, and here's what happens in this issue, or anything you want. So if you have any work at all that you want to show off to a large community and have a chance to have it grow, it's a pretty robust solution. It's very simple to use. It's kind of like a baked-in Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Comic Central all in one. It's a fantastic site. So definitely check that out. Let me.
What's the name again?
It's called globalcomics.com, and I'm going to demonstrate real quick for you the navigation that I was talking about. So I'm going to pop open Adobe Kroger Dame Commander number 1. Okay, so this is what the user will see. And if you're logged in as yourself, you'll have this open an editor button. Okay, and then all you have to do is you have an add text and add frame button right here. And if you want to add a navigation frame, you just click that, and then you literally just drag and drop a box that you can add points to and distort and reshape and all of that. So I'll go back here. So a reader can look at the page like this, and you can cycle to the next frame with this arrow here. And I'll go to a page that actually has frames. So here on this page that as you can see, it zooms in to the top panel so that you can get a better look at that panel. And then when you click to the next one, it automatically zooms out to the appropriate size. And you go to the next page, zooms in, navigates down, highlights that panel. So it's pretty cool, and very simple to set this up. And it makes readers more likely, I think, to want to browse through your comic on a phone or a tablet if you take that little bit of extra time to do that. So, and the site makes it real simple.
All right.
So
and, for creator rights, do you still own the comic? There's no copyright.
Nope.
Skullduggery going on here?
I saw no legal copy to that effect. You literally just upload your comic and configure your payment methods, and that's it. Like I said, I've been on it for 5 whole days, so these are my initial like 50,000 feet impressions, but so far pretty good. So let's say you want to create a series. It's very easy. You just like Adobe Kroger Demon Commander is part of the Adobe Kroger series. So you can go in here and manage the title, and you can specify the genre. You can add up to 4 themes, what time it takes place in, the audience it's intended for, the art style that it has, whether or not you want to say that it has nudity or violence or obscene language in it, give it some tags, and it's pretty awesome. So in terms of what you mentioned about creator rights, I saw nothing to indicate that they own it. So I think it's pretty much just like a Patreon mixed with Twitter, mixed with Facebook, mixed with Comic Central, without any copyright skullduggery, as you said. So pretty cool. I highly recommend at least trying it out to see if it's for you, because it's real simple, no fees, no nothing. So really responsive and friendly management too, as I said before. So anyway. With that being said, I have a couple of things to talk about on the Patreon. This month we released some new content that I was pretty proud of. First and foremost was a new short comic called Irene that was written and illustrated by Dylan Fagan with the characters that were created by Forrester. And this gives us a short Mythoverse story from the point of view of 2 brand new characters. I'll give you a quick preview of it here. So basically, Irene is a bounty hunter. She hunts down bail jumpers, and she gets a little bit more than she bargained for when she's chasing down this particular bail jumper. So she and her friend Derek pretty much consider it a routine operation until obviously something happens that is not routine. So no spoilers, but if you want to check this book out, it's available for patrons at the $5 level or higher.
I will say something though. There is a cameo. You have to wait and see and read it.
There is a cameo that makes no bones about it. This is taking place in the Mythoverse. But like I said, no spoilers. I want you to experience this book. And more importantly, I want you to support us so that we can continue supporting the creation of these books. Because we can't pay them if we don't have the support from our patrons. So by all means, please do so. So that is the first thing that came out this month. The second thing that came out, something that I think I was a little bit overdue, considering how many new creators are hopping on and into our setting. What I did was I took a little bit of time to write and record the Mythoverse creation myth, the beginning of the Mythoverse, like about how all things began in the Mythoverse. I felt it was necessary to get the very beginnings of the setting hashed out, as like I said, we're beginning to add to it from many different directions. And I think, at the very least, anyone who is contributing needs to know the baseline, where everything came from. So it is 18 minutes long, and it is available on the Patreon right now at the $1 level or higher. That means if all you do is pledge $1, you can listen to this 18-minute long short audiobook that lets you know exactly how things got started in the Mythoverse from the very beginning. Pretty happy with it, and I think it allows any other creator that wants to hop in to have a good idea of where their creations initiated, where everything came from. So that's this month on the Patreon. Irene for $5 and up, and the short audiobook, The Beginning of the Mythoverse, 18 minutes of fresh audio content for $1 or more. So fantastic deal. I can't say anything more about that. So Matt, you were mentioning, is Brett with us yet? Let me check.
I do not see Brett yet.
I do not see Brett either. Okay. Yeah, I had something I wanted to ask him, but I don't see him, so I won't be able to. With regard to Mythics, have you begun work on hashing out the script panel by panel for Mythics issue 3 yet?
Yep, I've done that multiple times already.
Okay. What state would you say it's in right now?
Oh, probably second to final draft.
Cool. What can we expect? Like the first issue, Mythics kind of introduced us to Althea and her familiar, and kind of teased a villain. We didn't find out too much about the villain in issue 1, but we kind of know that there's something a little bit more than meets the eye going on with the kidnapping of the changeling baby. And in issue 2, we also see another character that obviously is part of a larger conspiracy, correct?
Yep. Although that part won't be resolved until issue 5. So I'm going to show more of what the main villain's going to be like. 3 to set the stakes even higher for Althea and everyone involved. And quite possibly we'll see the place where the Mythic Order comes from, which would be another part on the other side of the realm of the supernatural.
Nice. That's what I mentioned earlier on Twitter, was that Mythics is a title that really dives deepest, at least at this present time, into Mythoverse lore, because the genre of Mythics is paranormal mystery thriller, which lends itself very well to organic world building, because the character is trying to discover something, and as the character discovers something, we learn as the character learns. So I think that's one of the biggest strengths of Mythics at this present time. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree. It's something that I thought about during while I concepted the story for volume 1.
Nice. Real quick, Neostar jumps in and does his thing. Really glad you could join us, Neostar. It's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for coming on tonight. So Mythics issue 2, that's exciting. Mythics issue 3 is well on its way, and there's going to be you said there were 5 issues in this first volume?
Yep.
Nice. Okay, so like I said, those 2 campaigns hopefully will get underway, resolved before the end of the year, if not very early next year. And the sooner the better, because right now, Adobe Kroger Dame Commander issue 2 is complete. I have the print proof right here in my hand right now. And it's fantastic. Leandro just annihilated issue 2. I kind of gave him a lot of work in issue 2. The first issue was 24 pages long, and issue 2 is 40 pages long. So it's a bit bulkier. It's a bit thicker. It's a bit more dense with content. But I felt it was necessary to complete the story of Adobe Kroger's first mission, to do that without having to cut any corners. It just felt like that was the amount of pages I needed to tell what I wanted to tell. So Adobe Kroger issue 2 is done. It's ready to go. I'm just not going to launch any campaign for it until the first 2 campaigns are fully fulfilled. That's just something that I resolved to do. So the sooner those 2 campaigns get fulfilled, the sooner I can start getting this book into everybody's hands. And yeah, so there's that. One moment, please. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, Toby Kroger issue 2 is well on its way. Anyway. Has Brett joined us yet? Nope. Okay. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about then. Okay, so this image that I'm showing on the screen right now is just a little something, a little fun little piece of whimsy, you could say, that I began throwing around ideas for. And this is an idea I've been wanting to do for some time. It was just I have far too many ideas and not enough time. So what this is here, this is an F1 themed, Formula One racing themed battle manga called Triple Crown. And what you're looking at here is the main character. Her name is Skip Sparks, and her goal is to chase down the Triple Crown of motorsport. That is to win the Monaco Grand Prix, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and the Indy 500. And there's only one racer in history that's ever done that, and she in that racer happens to be her idol, and she is attempting to duplicate that feat. And if all goes well with this, and I'm able to execute on it the way I want, and if I have the time to properly execute on it, this one's going to be hilarious, because Formula One is so rife with drama, both on and off the track, and it will be so easy to adapt it into a shonen style manga. That I was writing down the script for issue 1, and I was literally saying, this is so utterly stupid and ridiculous, but it's also very glorious. So I honestly cannot wait to have a little bit more time to work on this one. So this artwork that you're seeing here is done by our own Dylan Fagan. I just gave him a very general outline and a picture of a 2022 spec Formula One car, and said, just make a little shonen girl in racing overalls, put some Mythoverse brands on her, and put this car in the background. And I think he turned this around in 2 or 3 hours. So
yeah, I'm still coming up with it's still a concept thing. The final look might be different, but
yeah,
overall, because I'm trying different styles,
Yeah, like I said, this is still very much in the early development phase, but I'm kind of modeling it after the type of adventure that you would see in a manga like One Piece, where you have this young idealistic person who idolizes this legendary, accomplished person, and she wants to be the only other person to hold the Triple Crown, much like Luffy wanted to be the Pirate King. So think One Piece meets Formula One, and you'll get what I'm going for in Triple Crown here.
Yeah, like what Dan told me was, I was like, okay, do you want something retro or something modern? He goes, something modern. So with this, so I did something fairly, normal manga-esque, and then I thought, with a second design I'm doing, maybe go like all out, like something you see in like maybe a Studio Trigger anime. So I mean, look forward to that. I'm playing around with ideas.
Doing here.
Yep. And since I'm a stupidly massive fan of motorsport, there will be copious amounts of car porn in this comic if it gets off the ground. There will be like enormous amounts of technical detail in it, because Formula One is probably as close to rocket science that you can get.
I was gonna say, out of context, I was gonna say, hey,
the car porn.
I'm like, I was gonna say, since I'm dangerously out of context here, I'm like, okay, but then he goes to the technical details. I'm like, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
So kind of like food porn.
Well, look at it like this: a Formula One car is probably as or more sophisticated than any spacecraft. The only difference is it doesn't leave the ground. There are thousands of electronic readouts on a Formula One car, and every
But
last.
I have one question: Can this Formula One card allow me to do card games on race cars?
I suppose if you want to crash, I don't know. No, have you?
No, I mean,
have you
like,
actually?
no, I mean, like, make a car that could allow for like Yu-Gi-Oh 5D is like duels.
Sure. I mean, that was kind of the tone I was going for with this.
Okay, good. Okay, I wasn't sure what exactly it was going on when I joined in. I'm just like, okay, I see everybody in there, and I'm like, I might as well.
We're on Radio Mythoverse, dude.
Yeah, we're
I'm
live.
sorry.
That's fine.
I'm sorry for coming in and just like, okay, what's going on here? Who did what?
All right,
and apparently Alex is forcing me to read Animorphs.
All right, so this feature here, the reason I'm developing it is, like I said, Brian and I from the Rags team have been brainstorming a special project for the past nearly 8 months, and hopefully, if I can get this story into a decent enough spot by the end of Q1 or so, then it will be a part of that project. So more details on that as we get them, but I'm really happy with this first rendition here that Dylan did. He pretty much nailed it, like an adorable little shonen anime girl, and looks like she's ready to go racing. And you can tell there's going to be some ridiculous over-the-top action here. And Formula One lends itself perfectly to that, because there is so much technique and so much nuance to simply overtaking someone that you can exploit that and make some ridiculous anime tropes every time someone goes for an overtake. And I wrote down like dozens of ideas, like calling out special attack names, like activating special modes on your car. Like a Formula One car tends to have like a dozen different fuel modes alone that you can pair up with engine modes, that you can pair up with brake bias, that you can pair up with the drag reduction system. And it's limitless possibilities for ridiculous, over-the-top manga humor. So that's one of the reasons I was thrilled to see Dylan turn this around so fast, because it gave me something to look at and focus on. So thanks, Dylan, for coming through with that really quick.
Well, yeah, as of now, I know just as much as everyone else does, so there better be, like, people hopping out of cars and kicking each other's ass.
Oh, there will be fights. There will be fights. I was thinking an elevator pitch for this would, like, picture the movie Rush in a shonen manga, where you have these two lifelong rivals that grew up karting together. They went through GP2, they went through Formula 3, Formula 2, and on into Formula 1, and they've been competing ever since they were 9 years old, and now they're in their early 20s. And there's just so much you can do with that. And there will be, like I said, ridiculous attacks when they go to overtake, when they swap engine modes, and they have their wise senseis, which are their racing engineers, the team principals, and all that. It's like limitless possibilities. It's gonna be fun.
It's
I
definitely.
can imagine.
I'm definitely gonna. It's something that's kind of out of my comfort zone, because I'm not used to drawing cars, especially F1.
Okay. Okay, so have either of you heard the Japanese OST for Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds?
Wait. Okay, dude. We are.
Sorry.
We're trying to get things moving here.
I will.
Yeah, like.
We can discuss this when I go to play a game. That's fine.
All right, I'll just listen into this.
Cool. All right, so like I said, we got a lot going on. Basically, the next phase of our content will be going out. We will launch campaigns for Adobe Issue 2 as soon as Hallowed Harvest and Mythics are done. Because I don't know about you, but I don't really feel comfortable launching a campaign when we have outstanding campaigns. I prefer not to go down that road.
Bad road to go down.
Yeah, that's a very bad road to go down. Very, very bad road. Okay, so I was hoping Brett would be here because I wanted to talk with him about something, but if he's not here, we'll just go ahead and move on for the moment. That's pretty much all the updates I had for our side of it. Is Salem here in the chat with us? Salem, are you on the panel? I see you there. You listening?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, Salem, I think you had some good news that you wanted to share with us. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. I have just secured employment, and I shall be moving away from the Chicago area finally.
Awesome. So tell us
Great news.
tell us about your job, man. I believe you said you're going to be a mountain man.
Well, I don't want to give away too much information just for the sake of privacy, but yeah, I will be doing some blue collar work up in the UP of Michigan.
Nice.
So you're not gonna be a prostitute? Damn.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, what was that? I didn't hear that.
So you're not going to be a prostitute?
Oh, no.
No. I love saying
No,
no.
No, it's not going to be glamorous work, and it's not going to be necessarily fun work, but it's going to set me up with a good amount of new skills, and it's also going to allow me to live in a region of the country that I just love to death. So
I have a very particular set of skills.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that. I know you've been looking for a new job for some time, and you've been asking us to keep you in our thoughts, and I've been doing so, and I'm very, very happy to hear that good news.
yeah, I've been out of a job since February, so it's been really hard to find work because of the virus.
Yeah,
that damn COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know about you guys, but over my Thanksgiving dinner, when it was my turn to say what I was thankful for, I was saying, I'm just thankful that our lives weren't disrupted as much as they could have been by the pandemic, because I was able to very easily shift to remote work and didn't even miss a day.
I'll just be playing FF4 in the background.
Yeah, you should probably
I don't
mute
know if
yourself.
anyone-
Yeah, for oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just saying that I was thankful that my family's welfare was not disrupted by the pandemic as much as it could have been. I've had a number of colleagues, or even in my field, that had to be furloughed, and some were just permanently let go. And fortunately, I was able to dodge that bullet. So I feel your pain.
Yeah, and the good news is with this job, it's something that is never going away. So it's that doesn't matter how big of a plague will swarm us. It's something that always needs to get done. So I'm never going out of work if I decide to hang on to this job. And the nice thing too is it is a union job, and it is a job that, as long as I'm performing, I can just do. All that's possible is that I continue to work my way up the ladder, which leads to more pay and more benefits, and hopefully a more productive and happy life. So, yeah, it's. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people, they don't want to do a bunch of physical hard work, and I understand that, because I was hoping to find a job that was journalistic or writing oriented, because that's what I went to college for. But the thing is, you get to a point where I kind of had the realization, because I was doing some job hunting in Detroit, and just some things were not feeling very well mentally with me when I was looking out throughout the city. And I kind of just came to the realization that it's like, I wasn't really too picky about the job. I was picky about the location. And I just had that realization that I've been fed up with the cities, and I prefer the small town communities, because, well, people actually look out for each other there. And that's kind of what I was missing in my life was, I've got my immediate family, but in this area, I don't get along with many people, because it's a completely different mentality from the city and the rural areas. And it's like I just went to this area for a couple days for interviews and stuff, and already about half the town wanted to get to know me and wanted to help me out in any way they can. And I guess that's what I've been looking for, is just a place to call home, but also feels like they want me around. And so when you nail that, it doesn't really like you being picky about your job doesn't it's not that big of an issue anymore, because as long as you're going to have people that you can rely on at the end of the day, you'll be surprised your willingness to take up any sort of work to be in that environment. And sorry I went on a tangent.
No, here. I couldn't agree more. God bless you for finally finding that. I'm surrounded by retirees where I live, and we're all rural folk, all salt of the earth. Like almost all the guys that I'm surrounded with have worked with their hands their whole life. They could literally build their own garages, from the ground up, laying the foundations and all that. And they've helped me out so much since I moved here. I've traded them, produce that I've grown. I've traded them worm castings that I've harvested, and I got a free shed out of it. So that's fantastic. And yeah, we all look out for one another. We look out for one another's dogs. We look out for one another's kids. And I actually feel safe letting my kids just roam around on their bikes. It's fantastic. And I wouldn't go back to the city for anything. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, something that I will say, and for anyone who lives in cities, please don't take offense to this, but it's just an observation I have made. And it's the fact that when you live in a area where where the things that you need are out of reach, and you have to actually put in effort to get to things like the grocery store or like or any sort of shop, or you have to do work to get your food and such, it really makes you appreciate the things that you have and the things that that are hard to come by, but they're achievable. Because it's just in the city, you can just walk down 5 minutes from your house to the grocery store or any sort of shop, and you kind of lose perspective on the fact that those resources had to come from somewhere, and labor had to go into making them or harvesting them. And it can, if you let like a city swallow you up, it can start to warp your sense of like morals and what I mean by that is, like, it can start to you can start to lose sight of just how good you might have it. And I think that because when I was looking for a job in this area, I knew that my life was going to be harder on a day-to-day basis. But the thing is, I think that it only makes me a better person, knowing that I have to put in extra effort to get the things that I need, like food, water, clothing, shelter, etc.
Yeah, and say what you will about manual labor, it's good for the soul. It really is.
I just want to say I didn't mean to sound pretentious or anything, but it's something I've experienced,
Sure.
especially with with when I've come back from successful hunts. It's like when I'm cleaning the animal that I just killed. It's like you look at when you're done and you're like, holy crap, this looks like it came out of the package of the supermarket, and it's like, well, that's because that's where your food comes from.
Yeah.
You'll learn really quick that everything that you'll see on the shelf of a store had effort put into it. And so I think that if you're able to actually partake in the effort that gets the products on those shelves, you just appreciate life a little better.
Yeah.
Okay, can I interject for a second? Okay, at the very least, you guys got Thanksgiving. You know what I got?
I don't know what you got.
No.
I got work.
Sorry to hear that. All right. Well, yeah. So Salem, I'm really happy to hear that you're in a better place right now. For those that don't know, Salem did contribute to the Hallowed Harvest project. He wrote a fantastic story called The Blackfire Covenant, and it has a lovely illustration that is featured in the book. And if you were a digital backer or any backer, you should have already read it, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. and I hope, Salem, that you will continue to contribute to Mythoverse projects in the future. And I hope that...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, yep, I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
Well, good.
And the
Well,
good thing is with this job, now that I have income, I can start putting some serious commission work down to get some concept art made for projects that I have in mind.
Excellent. Excellent. You indicated that if everything goes well, you'll be in a very similar position, correct?
Correct.
Well, that's great. Like I said, everyone benefits when we benefit, because the more we can pay our artists, the more that they can afford to work, the more that we can give to our readers. And obviously that's the long-term goals. We want to make beautiful, good, and true stories that accurately reflect our values, the values of our civilization, our culture. And I think we're well on our way to getting started on that. And it really is helped in no small part to all these wonderful creators that have come together to make projects like Hallowed Harvest, that are helping out with our side projects and their own projects that are going to build the Mythoverse up into something wonderful. So it's been a great year. I hope next year eases up a little bit on the nonsense so that we can get some real work done. Because our production pipelines have been seriously affected, like all around. Like on our merch store, there's a lot of items I still just can't get, so I've had to take them down, which is a huge irritation. Like one of my favorite things were puzzles, and I just can't get those anymore. That sucks. I wanted to offer up our Christmas puzzles again for the holiday season, because those actually sold fairly well last year, and can't do it. So hopefully next year is a better one. We'll see. In the meantime, we make do with what we got. So we're coming up on the end of the hour here. Brett still hasn't showed, and I would have loved to have had a chat with him, but what I'll do right now is I'll fire up a game. I'm going to fire up Cyberpunk 2077. What I did was I went ahead and created my character to avoid having to accidentally broadcast the nudity that you can't avoid. Because I had to adjust Adobe's breast and nipple size. I had to make sure she had, the right genitalia and all that. That's critical, obviously. So I couldn't show that. But what I did was I created the character and left it at the very beginning. So I'm going to be starting pretty much cold from the beginning. For those who have played the game, I made her a nomad. That was probably the only one I could have picked for the character. And I'm going to go ahead and get it started right now, and I will swap over to that. And then, whatever you guys want to talk about, talk about.
Before you start, Dan, I just want to say, as someone who's been playing Cyberpunk, street kid for life.
I'll try that on another playthrough.
And meanwhile, I'll be doing FF4 if anyone's interested in that.
All right. Okay, game's starting up right now. I'll swap over to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have like at least one save across like each life path.
I'm still doing my first playthrough. I can't do that. I can't do multiple characters, multiple playthroughs running at the same time. I just can't.
Okay.
I get so deep into one, and it's just like I forget about the others to the point where I hate starting over in a game. So when I go back to those other characters, I don't feel like doing this anymore.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
Oh, something that might be an interesting thing to talk about. With me moving up to the UP in Michigan, it turns out, and I had discovered this a little bit ago, but since I'm moving up there now, I can dedicate some time to this. It turns out some property that my family has is actually in one of the biggest, quote-unquote, one of the biggest Wendigo, quote-unquote, sightings in the entire nation.
Hello.
Yo, Salem about to get eaten alive.
And I've got even more. My buddy up there that I met in college while I was up there, he is actually a member of one of the major tribes up there.
Is he Algonquin?
And I'm not going to say where which tribe he's from, just to keep it him private. But there's only a few, so you've only got a few to select from in that region.
So.
But here's the other thing. Here's something crazier. His people actually have stories of something that is very similar to a Wendigo. And I've actually been invited to hunt on his reservation before, but unfortunately I couldn't take up that offer because of just a bunch of stuff going on. But I can talk to him and see if I can get some insight into some of the stories that are told in his tribe, and if I can do that, perhaps I could write up a bit of a, I guess you could call it a biography of sorts on the Wendigo for the Mythoverse.
That would be pretty awesome.
That would be awesome. Yeah, Salem's been doing
Yeah,
a lot of work for us on something that we're getting ready to launch soon. So.
And we'll see. We'll see how all the information. We'll see how all that stuff goes, because I would have to do a little bit of traveling to do that. However, I just thought that perhaps with me going up there, this could be something a little cool that we could try to put together. I could try to put together, and could have it to be something a little interesting for the Mythoverse to have, which would be like an on-site and first-hand account information about a creature from one of the many fascinating mythologies in America.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm all in favor.
Yeah, cultural appropriation for the win.
Yeah.
I do have to say though, a lot of you are going to be disappointed if you think that the Wendigo is that deer skull, 10-foot tall thing.
No, that's
It
a
isn't.
Jersey Devil, right?
No. It's just that's what the Wendigo has evolved into, because the modern day Wendigo is nothing like the actual thing. In fact, have any of you played the game? What was it called?
Until Dawn. Yeah, because that's
Yes.
where I keep thinking of when it comes to Wendigo.
Yes, that is actually a more accurate. Now, there's some major flaws with it, but that is a lot more accurate to the Wendigo than what a lot of people think of nowadays, because the Wendigo never has had anything to do with stags.
Ouch.
Stag.
No, it's probably.
So-
I mean, the thing that would probably be more likely to be connected to is a skinwalker, and even then, there aren't many deer around the areas that skinwalkers generally come from.
Oh, there goes the Mist
At
Dragon.
least not many that I know about.
Although we could one. Speaking of Until Dawn, man, that game was so much fun. It's definitely more of a movie than a game, but it's still fun to play.
Oh, dude, it was one of the very first
I can
games
imagine.
It was one of the first games I got on the PS4. It is lots of fun. It's especially, you know what it really is good for? It's if you've got a bunch of friends and you've got some drinks and you can all get a little buzzed or drunk and then make the decisions poorly under the influence.
Oh yeah, I remember when I was in Japan, me and a group of friends. I had already played Until Dawn, but I invited some friends over and we were like playing it. I was playing it, they were watching. And those moments where you have to make those quick decisions are some of the funniest decisions you can make with a group of people. Where it's like you're being chased by something, and it's like you got to go left or right, and everyone's like panicking, trying to decide where to go, and you just get killed.
It's interesting though too, because
Ruh-roh.
if you look at the story that the of like what the Wendigo is supposed to symbolize and such, it actually coincides very well with the themes and the narrative of the game. There's a few things that are they're glaringly
Yes, it was
wrong. Like probably the biggest one is that it's somewhat up in the air if the region that of Canada that it takes place in had the stories of the Wendigo, but that is a very the thing is it's 50-50 if it could or not, and plus that is such a major nitpick. It doesn't really pull too much from the story and stuff, but it's it's the whole purpose of the Wendigo is supposed to say, like, we're all here to survive. However, are you willing to trade your humanity in order to keep living?
Well, I
And
kind of like that it mixes with the mythology just a bit because it gets people to like research it instead of just assuming. Well, I guess you could still assume with the game story what it tells you, but to me, it gave just enough for me to be like, I kind of want to look into this and see what this Wendigo is about. Granted, I knew what a Wendigo was prior to, but I wasn't like an expert on it. I was still kind of like, I've heard this before, but I don't know details.
and it gets you're saying like looking into it. I remember when I was first reading into it, and then I found out there was also cities in Michigan and Alaska called Wendigo, and I was like, "Ew, I'm not sure if I want to go there." It's like, how did you get that name?
Wendigo USA.
Well, it
Yeah,
helps if
boy.
you're Mayor Ada, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I remember I had a conversation about that. Like, I think it was when I was in Japan again. I was talking to my friend of mine of how like, because one of the things I really like is like the correlation between mythology and real life. Because like, I'm gonna sound like a serial killer for saying this, but I do know not detailed facts, but I do know some stuff when it comes to like cannibalism, and it's like, what is it called? It's like when a person eats another person. There's like when you eat something, obviously your body's taking nutrients that that animal had and applying it to yourself. However, when it comes to eating another person, there's like I can't remember exactly. I can't remember if it's a protein or something else, but I think it's a protein where your body naturally produces it. So when it receives extra of it, it has no idea to handle that, and it starts messing with your body, starts messing with your brain, and it can actually drive you crazy. So
Oh
I was
my.
thinking like I
There's a
would
disease.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised.
Um,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if back in the day, Native Americans and other like older tribes of people would resort to cannibalism while being stranded in the middle of nowhere and just end up going crazy, and then thus the Wendigo.
well,
Oh, yeah.
the story is actually from what everything that I've researched, and
I
I
believe
actually
it's the
studied.
guilt of the person causes
I
them to
actually
run away until their feet get like eroded off, basically, and they're just bloody stumps.
Oh
well,
dear. That's
there's a
grisly.
well, there's a few different variations of what causes a Wendigo. However, the most common feature in most of the versions is that it has something tied to cannibalism. But the biggest one, especially with the people of the Eastern Inuit tribes, the biggest one is that that is most widely accepted is that it's trying to discourage people from resorting to that act because, like I said earlier, it's kind of like the commentary on: are you willing to shred humanity for survival? And
Ruh-roh.
that's kind of what the Wendigo is supposed to symbolize. It's like you're disgracing probably one of the most sacred things that humans find, and it's that we agree on, and it's that we probably shouldn't be eating each other. And
Yeah,
so
'cause,
it's
like
like, are you willing to? Are you really willing to do the most heinous action conceivable just to survive another day?
Why is he
yeah,
killing
'cause
garden gnomes?
I'm wondering
it's
why
like
we're going over Josh with trees.
what you call it when it comes to like cannibalism, it's a very rare thing even for any animal. Like most animals don't eat their own kind, dead or alive or anything like that. So cannibalism is a very taboo thing, even from a natural standpoint, from like other animals. And so, like, also, there's another crazy thing. It's like when a person's starving, um, over time, like the starvation will begin to affect you to the point where things you never thought you would eat, your starved mind will like just forget all of those thoughts. Like let's say you told yourself you would never eat a dog, but you've been starving for like a week, your body's starting to deteriorate. Your brain will literally just stop thinking about those morality choices and just be like, yo, that dog's looking pretty tasty. And that's usually how people resort to cannibalism, is that they get to that point where they're so starved that their brains are like, I don't care what that is. You're eating it, and we're going to survive.
Something that I actually wanted to add on to something you had said earlier. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on all the details of the whole protein thing you're talking about, but I do know that there is actually. I don't know what the term is for it, but apparently, since a lot of people know that cannibalism is a big taboo, there is a bit of a I forgot where I read this, but I remember that scientists were saying like there is like there is a huge euphoric release when somebody partakes in cannibalism, because like if they had chosen to do it, then there's a little bit of that, rush of knowing that you're doing something that isn't allowed.
This millipede's looking at me weird.
And there's and I and I forgot I forgot
Well,
what
yeah,
else I was
'cause-
gonna add to that, but yeah, there's it's interesting because once again it's like, you've got this myth story that is trying to give like a warning or an explanation as to why something that happens to us humans, it gives commentary on real life things.
Well, yeah, most. Well, I won't say most. It's like common theory that like mythology was early man's explanation for things they couldn't understand. Like, why is this earth shaking? What's going on? What could cause this? Well, the gods must be angry at us. No one ever would have thought of tectonic plates and a bunch of bullshit like that
Oh, of
at
course.
the time. Unless there was that one caveman who was just like, I cracked the code.
I cracked the code.
Well, they wouldn't
But
have
for I
access to a
am
lot of
Vandal
that information,
Savage.
so it would be
But then
really weird if they got to it.
Forget Vandal Savage as a caveman.
Isn't
Yeah,
it true that,
some people tend to
isn't it-
forget that, but then they look up his origin.
Isn't it
And then
true
you're
that
like,
Neanderthals, if they had evolved alongside of us, they would have become smarter because their brain mass was bigger?
I don't know how true
That
is.
might
I don't
have
know
been
the full
possible.
details about that.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I don't know
That
the full
might be
details
possible.
about that.
Sorry.
It's just one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like, because like supposedly there were other species. Well, we're all the same species, but there was other types of humans besides just Homo sapien and Neanderthal. But they all kind of died out over time. So there's no telling what could have happened.
There's no telling what's coming next. Haven't you seen that video of that orangutan spearing fish from the freaking river?
Listen, man, when the apes rise, I'm gladly gonna just like, yo, man, I'm siding with you guys. All right. I could make so many racial jokes, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, that would be wise to avoid. We all love each other.
I mean, it would be more. It would be jokes towards me for the most part, but it's like that joke I made was like talk like I can't remember what it was, but it was talking about like. Are we on YouTube? Are we live on YouTube?
Yeah,
and Twitch.
YouTube.
Okay, I won't say it then. But basically,
Yeah,
I was making a joke.
Yeah.
I was making a joke, and I was part of the. It was a joke also directed towards me. So to me, that's like I won't say it's a fair pass, but it's like you get what I'm saying though. It's not quite the. Like if I can't make the joke, then something's wrong here.
Indeed. So while you guys were doing Twitch, I in the meantime just killed a bunch of my own soldiers.
Reminds me of my time in the military.
So you turned into a Dark Knight and then had to kill your own soldiers because you were betraying your own land?
I didn't have to.
You wanted to?
I didn't want to.
Okay, then what was it?
I mean, they were just in the way. I was trying to get to the chow line and they just wouldn't move. I said, get out the way. It's surf and turf.
I'm sorry.
Listen, man, when it's surf and turf, like that's the one day the galley has good food, lobster and steak. You gotta move.
Oh my god, man. That's funny.
Wait, is this the car you start off with as Nomad? Oh Jesus.
Yep.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Ooh, found a fat chocobo.
See, I get like Mad Max vibe from the Nomad Life Path.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to wait to do something with that.
Yeah, because like when I was playing Nomad, that's all I could think of was like Mad Max, but not like the movie. I kept thinking like the game. And I really thought the early game would play like the Mad Max video game for some reason.
Yeah, me too. That's
But
so
then you
weird.
found out that it was really mediocre.
Only on the PS4. It's.
I need to see Fury Road.
Yeah, Dan, what system are you playing on?
Mediocre.
My PC.
Oh, okay.
It's
Because I've
great.
been playing on.
What game?
Cyberpunk 2077.
You said that like right as I.
Are you injecting
was on Twitter and
Cyberpunk
saw something.
2077 directly into your cock?
You said that. You mentioned mediocre right as I was reading this post on Twitter.
I was making
Does anyone
a
else
Mad
feel
Max Fury
empty? I've
Road
been crying
reference.
for the last few days. I took a week off work to play this game, and I quickly realized it's not the game I've been thinking about every day for 8 years. I cried myself to sleep and haven't been able to function. I end up crying whenever I think about the game, and I don't even want to touch my PS4.
Whoa, hello!
This was supposed to be the future of gaming, and now I don't know what else I have to look forward to.
Yeah, like I was one of those people. I was excited for this game, but only in the sense of like, oh, that looks cool. I can't wait to play it. Not in the sense of like, oh my god, this is gonna be the greatest game ever. And I feel like,
sorry, I had to leave you to die.
I'm not really that surprised that it's jank.
I mean, it's so far from me. I can only speak for myself, but it hasn't been that jank. I've seen a couple of glitches, but nothing that broke the game.
See, if you remember, Witcher 3 was pretty jank when it came out too.
Oh, that was.
But I mean, I picked it up recently, Witcher 3, and it's just like.
Well, I was way out of my depth there.
Right. Okay. Hold on.
Here we go.
So,
enemies that I could actually fight.
Hold on. Yeah, I picked up Witcher 3 recently, actually, and it was genuinely great. No problems. I will say, if you're gonna play Cyberpunk,
okay,
just get a PC.
You really should be playing it on a PC or on the next gen consoles.
I don't know about that. Like I said,
they really should not have released this game on
PS4
on previous on a PS4 or Xbox One,
and yet they did.
Well, here's the thing. I gotta be honest. I don't feel sorry for people who brought it for those consoles. They really should know better by this point.
Well, I bought it for the Xbox One, and it's been working fine for me. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I feel like a lot of people are just overhyping their bugs because it didn't meet their godly expectations that they gave it.
All I can commentate on is finally Todd Howard is going to see, like, see, I'm not the only one.
No, Todd, you're still on a whole new level.
Right. Okay. You see you see the thing is though, it's it's not it's not that's the problem. People build up just godly expectations, but the thing is, it's a good RPG, but it's not super godlike. But it does what it does well. It's a great. It's a lot of fun.
It's still a good game. Well, I won't say good because I haven't gotten that deep into it, but it's still fun.
Oh, it's really funny. Even when I'm playing it on PS4, it's fun. Just play it on PC. That's the best experience.
And if you do play it on consoles,
guys, it just works. Okay, it just works.
It just works, guys.
That's my other. But my comment would be, it's like if you're not gonna play it on PC, you're gonna play it on console. Just accept the fact that this is not going to be the greatest experience with this game. Just accept that. What the heck is that?
Yeah, here's like some popping noise.
And
Sounds like someone beatboxing.
the reason I had brought up the Todd Howard thing is while you guys are playing that, I myself am playing Oblivion in all of its messy glory.
See, that's the other difference, though, is
I
that
love
like
Oblivion.
I have no doubt CDPR will eventually patch and fix Cyberpunk. Todd Howard with his redheaded motherfucker ass,
No.
he'll let the modders fix the glitches for him. He won't ever
course.
patch it and fix it himself. Well, not himself. You get it. He doesn't really do that stuff. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think I'm having more like the Nomad opening is definitely the best one. It introduces you to driving and shooting like right away compared to the other like paths.
Yeah, the Street Kid, honestly, like when I haven't done the other one, whatever the high roller thing was, but the Street Kid one, excuse me, I liked it because it just felt like what's that movie? I don't know. What's that movie? Like it had a very like not a mafia Godfather kind of thing, but it did have that bit of like I don't know what the term. I can't.
Got really quiet.
Yeah, it really did. What happened?
Sorry, I was focusing on the this imp that was flying through solid masses in the walls, and I was also looking at this one character who was running in air and somehow not having gravity not work on him.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes, it is. It is. Oblivion, like it really is true. The mean for Oblivion is true. Not so much Skyrim because Skyrim's a little more distracting, but for Oblivion, it's not. You can definitely say it's not a glitch; it's a feature because it really does entertain you.
Hey, in Cyberpunk, it's not a glitch. It's just Johnny Silverhand messing with you. Damn you, Johnny.
Yeah, basically, it's Keanu Reeves being a dick for once.
Oh, you're talking about the character in Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
I've only watched a little bit of the playthrough, but is it just me or does his line reading come off really dry and wooden? Like I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm being serious though. Is it just me or does his line reading come off really stale?
Yeah, he's okay compared to the voice acting from the rest of the game, which is solid. Uh, you have Keanu Reeves, who obviously is not used to voice acting. So it kind of, but it doesn't really bug me too much. I mean, it's Keanu Reeves. I love the guy. Like
Oh yeah, I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm just wondering if I'm the
it
only
is
one.
stiff. It is stiff. Yeah, it's definitely stiff. It's Keanu Reeves acting. You get what you get, but goddamn, is he fun? Got it.
What I
love
missed.
the Oh, we're talking about Keanu Reeves.
In Cyberpunk,
Yeah, I'm just in general.
don't say too much because I haven't gotten to him yet.
Well,
But-
there are a couple of missions I hit where you get to play as him.
Why the hell not?
Interesting. Get to be the future John Wick.
Basically, all I have to say is
It's a
that
little
you
strange.
get
It's a little
he's a
strange
badass.
seeing that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. My bad.
That's fine. But yeah, you just feel like he's a badass in everything he does. And it's basically you're playing him as John Wick.
Oh yes, the future John Wick of the year 2020.
2023, I believe. And I was gonna
Oh
say,
yeah, 2023.
I was gonna
Okay,
say, if that's what 2023 is gonna look like, then 2020 might have been worth it.
I'm
yeah, my
getting
bad.
so sick of
2023,
this.
but still, that's just
However,
three.
however, having the corporations take over in that big of a display, maybe that part won't be worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When you think about it, like people are like, "Oh, I want to live in a future like that." No, you don't. You're not going to be Adam Jensen or V or any sort of protagonist. You're not going to be the protagonist. You're going to be the one lying face down on the ground with a boot on your face because it's a dystopia. Like, what more do I have to say?
Well, all I gotta say is, if it's
Everyone's invited.
all I have to say is, if it's a post-apocalyptic dystopia, if we get the Bethesda bugs with it, once again, it might be worth it then.
Yeah, just
My
click to
best
the
part-
floor if you're ever surrounded by a bunch of mutants.
My best Todd Howard impression. It just works. It just works.
It just works.
The sad part is like the thing with Todd Howard and Bethesda. It's like at first, like as glitchy as their games were, they were still fun. Then you had Fallout
Oh, yeah.
76, where it's just not fun. Jesus, I think I killed Alabaster with that one.
Is someone allergic to bullshit?
That game is such a
Hey.
train wreck. I'm so glad I didn't buy it.
I knew it wasn't going to be good the minute they were like, it's going to be online. I was like, Fallout's not really, in my opinion, Fallout's not really, you could do an online Fallout, but to me, the
We're
appeal
doing
of Fallout has
Battle
always been like,
Royale, and I'm like, Fallout should not be Battle Royale. It's
Like-
not canon. Oh, is
to me,
Brett
it's like,
here?
the only way you could do a Fallout online is if it's a hard choose a faction. Like, you don't get to run around the same way you would normally play Fallout. You have to hard choose a faction. Anything else, it's just Fallout with extra people, and that's just going to be chaos.
It would, and that's
Which it
kinda-
was.
And it just the whole story of it.
Yeah, people like getting their information stolen, the Nuka dark rum bottles being cheap and plastic. Saving the best stuff for their influencers despite not fulfilling the people who actually pre-ordered the damn game.
Right. The only Fallout games that are canon are 1 and 2. Fight me.
Fallout 3 and New Vegas are good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I even enjoyed Fallout 4.
Fallout 4.
You know,
Okay,
Fallout 4 is the only game I've really seen like a quote unquote
Okay,
playthrough of through Ben Creighton.
Okay, apparently I had cut
I
out.
loved the base building in Fallout 4.
And there's Brett.
Yeah, sorry I'm late.
Hey, Brett. It's fine.
So I looted over in Creator Club that I had a fun story to tell you guys.
Well, let us have it.
Oh yeah.
So normally going to Walmart on a Saturday night is not something I advise because that's one of the busier nights. But holy fuck, was this busier than normal, and of course, it doesn't take a genius to know why.
Christmas.
Yep. Now, my brother and I managed to get out okay, but then came the ride home. And we ended up having to slow down because we're stuck in traffic, because the Walmart we were shopping at happens to be on the way past an outdoor shopping mall. that is just flooded because everyone decided it was a good idea to go Christmas shopping at a mall on a Saturday night.
I mean, have you seen the human race? It's consistent with their poor decision making.
I just want to get in and out of Walmart, okay?
Should have brought your gun.
On the plus side, Leo got a new toy for Christmas.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember which anime it was, but I remember watching an anime. I can't remember if it was like a demon or an alien or whatever, but it's one of these fish out of water stories where like this creature was trying to like figure out how to blend in with human society, and they got sick and tired of the lines in the grocery store, and so like it came back to the house one day with the teenager that was like watching the alien or monster, whatever it was, and and he says, "Hey, I got through the grocery store or wherever really quick today." And they're like, "Oh, how'd you do that?" And he's like, "Well, I used this." And they pull out a gun, and he pulls out. I'm sorry, it was a she. She pulls out a gun. And he's like, "What did you do with it?" He's like, "When you shoot this in the air, everyone leaves."
I mean, you can't argue with results.
I was about to say, like, yeah, you got the job done, so.
I can't remember what show it was, but I remember
for some reason my mind's eye is seeing. I don't remember the exact name, but I remember it's an anime where it stars Lovecraft monsters as cute anime girls, and the main one is supposed to be Nyarlathotep.
Speaking of anime and other weep shit, I guess I've joined your ranks the other day.
Wait, who just said that? Who just said that?
Sauron did.
I did.
Sauron, you have given in. We win.
Not yet. I've only watched.
Sauron, being a black guy who likes Dragon Ball Z I do not think counts.
Oh no, that definitely does not count. Dragon Ball Z, it's so mainstream. It's not even anime anymore. I know it is, but it's not.
Okay,
but,
what did you watch?
I watched. What was it? It was a movie. Dan, he was talking about Formula One, and it made me think of it. What was the name of it?
Redline. Is it
Yes,
Redline?
it was Redline. Holy shit!
That movie is cool.
Holy shit! That movie was awesome. I loved every second of it.
I have a.
Like, I just love how I can't think of his name right now, but the main character, how he's racing in these future races with aliens, robots, and all this other future shit. They all got spaceships for vehicles, and he's just driving a muscle car.
I mean, fuck. That's like only half of it. Like, the animation style for Redline, that stuff is like. That has got some of the most fantastic animation I've ever seen in an anime film. Like,
oh man,
it's like, so fucking stylized.
It was so awesome, just like, and then like it was so batshit crazy, but at the same time, it was one of those batshit crazies that like. Most of the time when I watch anime stuff, when it has the batshit crazy, it really takes me out of it. But a lot of the batshit crazy they had in this movie, it was just right for me.
It sucked you in.
Yeah, like how they're trying to have this illegal race, and they chose this this super militarized planet, and the military there is like, we're not allowing you to have this race here. We're gonna kill you if you show up. And everyone's just like, all right, the race is here. This is where we're having it. It's just like, all right.
All right, next up, you got it. Okay, next up, to really pop your weed cherry, you gotta watch Cowboy Bebop and Akira.
Now, I've seen Cowboy Bebop. I have seen it. I do like it.
You sounded
Akira, on the other
young
hand,
Bill Clinton there.
You gotta
Oh,
watch Cowboy
here I
Bebop and Kira.
Here, I got one for you. If you're not, if you're still a little gun shy on the weeb stuff, Sauron. Have you heard? Have you heard of Black Lagoon?
I have seen Black Lagoon. I
Okay,
watched
so
it with a friend of mine.
Good. Have you seen Jormungand? It takes place in the same universe.
Really?
Seriously?
I have seen that one because a buddy of mine, he showed me that one as well. That one I was kind of, I don't know, I just didn't like it as much.
I want to get back to what about Akira, Sauron?
So Akira, that's a movie I've been meaning to watch. However, I don't know if it's just bad luck. I don't know if it's just me, but every time I try to watch that movie, something happens to where either the video, like where I'm watching online, stops working. Something happens and I can't watch it. Something always goes wrong whenever I try to watch Akira.
Here's another one, Sauron. Just to make sure that you'll never sleep again. Have you watched a show called Higurashi?
I don't even know what that is.
If
Boy.
if you thought that animation could never give you nightmares, and I mean like genuinely scare you, then that's the show for you.
I don't know. There's the Eclipse episodes of Berserk.
Okay, you got me there. That's another example. But Higurashi is its genre is horror. So
Point taken.
the best part is Sauron. Just Google Higurashi and look at the image on there. You wouldn't think it was horror. You wouldn't think it was a horror series just from looking at it.
Oh God, the fingernail scene.
Oh, good. Just saying that.
Don't spoil it.
He sounds so offended. How dare you? Why would you say that? That's the best part.
Well, he's kind of right.
One of the best scenes in the entire series.
He's kind of right. He is kind of right though, because like it's not just it's a horror anime with a mystery in the background, and like you have to go into it blind to really get the best experience.
Well, I mean, I'm not immune to spoilers, but for the most part, like they don't bother me. You can spoil an entire scene for me, and I can still kind of just be like, oh my god, I can't believe that actually happened. I assumed he was lying.
And of course, I know I keep telling you about the Sauron, but I still got to say Hellsing Ultimate. You got to check out Hellsing Ultimate.
Hellsing, that's one I've been wanting to watch.
Not just Hellsing. You got to watch Hellsing Ultimate, the OVA. That's a 10-part series, and each episode is like an hour and a half to 2 hours long.
So it's like movies, a movie series.
Essentially, yeah.
Because that was one I wanted to watch because, like, I can't remember who I was talking to, but when I was describing my stuff for the Swordsman, they said that might be a good thing to watch for, like, inspiration.
That was actually me, I believe.
Probably was you. To be fair, though, I've had so many people tell me to watch Hellsing in general. It's like, it gets confusing.
Now make sure that you watch Ultimate, because the regular Hellsing show, it's okay, but it's not as good as Ultimate. And plus, Ultimate is actually very faithful to the manga, and it is such a it fits so well in with the Dracula novel. I think I've said this before, but I personally consider it the actual sequel to the novel.
Is it like a case where, because I know the story when it comes to what's it called, Full Metal Alchemist, where Brotherhood is the accurate, like it follows the main story more accurately as opposed to the original.
It is kind of a remake essentially, because the original Hellsing anime, like, I don't think there's any mincing of words there. The ending sucked.
Yeah, it did. I don't mind spoiling this because this is the one you don't need to watch. But the only really cool part that Hellsing original series did is you get character development with one character that isn't as present in Ultimate as she is in the Hellsing anime. But another thing that is really cool is one of the villains that they made up for the anime. At the end of the series, he starts yelling, "Who the hell are you?" And lightning flashes, and then Alucard, who is the main vampire in the series, the lightning flashes, and you see the mustache and the and like the knight and like the armor of Vlad the Impaler, and he's got this wicked smile on his face, and then the scene transition just changes to the villain impaled on the stake in front of the Tower of London.
Oh God.
It's like, yes, that was cool, but there's quite a few problems with the Hellsing anime.
Yeah, because that's a big thing for me when it comes to any show. Mostly shows. When it comes to movies, it's one thing, but shows, if the ending is terrible, it will ruin the entire show for me.
And especially because they teased it as if there was going to be another season, and there never was. But they did the better choice, and they just said, no, let's make this a 10-part pretty much movie series.
Because I remember watching what was that show? Dead Man Wonderland.
Oh, I hated that show.
I enjoyed it until like the end, where it was just so abrupt. And even as someone who didn't know the context behind the manga series and all that, I already knew. I was like, all right, this is a show that they just didn't get to finish because it just felt so incomplete.
Yeah, it I believe it was well, that's the problem with a lot of animes. They only get one season, and what animes really are, and a lot of people don't acknowledge this, and they really should. Animes, for the most part, are almost just supposed to be advertisements for their manga.
I would say Berserk is like the one exception where the ending, even though it was abrupt, it actually kind of worked if you thought about it.
Yeah, because I know the ending to Berserk, where it's like the whole series, the original series, it's a flashback. That in the manga it takes place like a couple of chapters in, if I remember correctly. So that kind of works.
The original anime is basically the whole Golden Age arc, which is it's widely considered the high point in the entire manga, actually. But yeah, they tried to. There's actually a lot they left out of the manga because they couldn't use it, mostly for budget reasons. But then you had the ending, which was like after the Berserk, like after the Eclipse arc, and instead it just kind of stops. But it sort of worked because it sort of left you on this. It left you on this kind of ambiguous note, knowing that there's kind of nothing left for Guts but more violence,
pain and misery.
It just for some reason it worked. It's hard to put into words, but it worked. Like
I remember.
You remember what?
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were still talking. Go ahead, finish.
Not right. I mean, I was gonna say like I didn't really. When I first saw it, I didn't like the ending, but it was kind of one of those things where the more I thought about it, the I could kind of see how it worked.
Well, what I was gonna say was that like, because I like watch like stuff talking about anime, trying to like see if that's something I want to watch. I get a lot of recommendations for like pretty much meme videos based on anime, and there was one I saw today where it was like it was like the gut. It's like when the Guts theme hits you, and it was like some wrestler who was like behind the scenes. He was just getting pissed, like he was just angry, and then like the theme kicks in and he just starts crying, and I was just like, oh my god.
Pretty much.
Let me see if I can find it because it was just so funny. I'm sure you guys would understand it better than me because like I'm not a big wrestling guy. I don't know all their names and stuff.
Oh, I do have to also plug the most recent anime that I just fell in love with and binged, and you can find it on Netflix. It's The Great Pretender. You've got You guys gotta watch that.
The Great Pretender. Yeah, that's.
That's the anime about con men, isn't it?
Yes, it's about conmen, and it's also one of the most feel good shows I've ever seen in my life.
And it's about con men.
Yes.
I just put it in funny videos, just so you know.
Okay.
The English in that show is hilarious.
Oh, I watched the English dub because the English dub is really good in that one.
Excuse me.
Hey, that's Kane. That was Kane when they made him take the mask off.
This was legitimately one of the funniest things I saw in a long time. And I don't know, I didn't even hear Guts' thing before, but just hearing it here was hilarious to me. He's just so pissed off, and then he just starts crying for no reason. I'm sure there's a reason, but you know what I mean. I don't know the context.
Well, here's the question. Do you know what Guts goes through?
Yes, I do know that. I do know that context.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, wouldn't you cry too if you had that image going through your head?
I think I would just kill myself.
Are you talking about the one scene?
Oh God, I love this. I don't know if anyone else has seen this meme, but there's this meme that has that crying like a NPC kind of face, and he says, "Are you saying that you expect me to try to persevere and push on despite everyone hating me and life being hard?" And then the
And
next
his
image,
Guts.
Guts, and he says, "Yes." It's like boom. That's what really gets me about all the nihilism that we see in our society these days. It's like we need more characters that just have just a shit life yet keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually been something that, like, not necessarily the direct nihilism, but it's something that I find myself trying to not necessarily write actively against, but try to avoid those, like, I guess you could say cliches, and say cliches. To me, a trope is when it's a overused storytelling idea, but it's still good. To me, a cliche is when it's not necessarily good.
Well, I guess I'm commentating more on I'm getting tired of the like when Rick and Morty first started, I loved that show.
Oh God, yeah.
But then I'm kind of, and it's not just Rick and Morty. I'm just using it as the most obvious example, but almost everything. I'm kind of getting tired of the main punchline saying like, "See how everything is meaningless?" It's like, okay, well,
Rick and Morty really lost me with that one.
Regardless if you believe that or not, I'm gonna be sitting here, going like, okay, so yeah, that's the punchline, I guess. But are you gonna try to do anything past that? Are you gonna try to make? Because like, if you acknowledge that, are you gonna at least then make sure that the rest of your life is gonna be meaningful and you're trying to do some good in the world, or are you just gonna use it as an excuse to bitch, moan, and scream, and use it as an excuse for poor behavior? And it seems more people than I'm really that a lot of people are probably comfortable with have decided that they're just going to then be as selfish as they want because they've decided that nothing has much merit or value at the end of the day.
Yeah, because like I remember that was a big thing for me when it came to Rick and Morty. Was like I liked it at first. Excuse me. I thought it was funny, but then it just kept like it never changed. Like the punchline to every joke was the same thing. Like nothing matters. Like who cares? Wubba lubba dub dub.
I feel like it's kind
of... All right, guys, I'm gonna cut the stream now because I gotta head out. But feel free to stay in chat in the voice chat. I'm just gonna cut off the live stream. Just let you know.
All right, later, man.
All right, later.
See ya.
That awkward moment when you realize Warhammer 40k is actually a more hopeful universe.